up, all you have cats and happening chicklets out there in the Xenaverse?
Trista, what are you doing?
I was waiting on you. Oh, shiny, sparkly one.
Uh-huh.
What's up?
Nothing. You tell me.
Let's ask the XENITES.
Okay, what's up?
What's up, XENITES? Welcome back to the Babbling Bards podcast.
A podcast made by XENITES.
For XENITES. We're your happy hosts.
Happy hosts. I am Liliana.
I'm Trista. Sometimes.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And we may not be airing this the day of, but Liliana has something she wants to say.
Oh. You know what today is?
It's the day that I got my voice back.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But besides that, 22 years ago, today,
Xena.
Very first episode of Xena was aired. September 4th, 1995.
Woo!
22 years, can you believe that?
That was back when we rode the horses and buggies across the prairie to get to the settlement plantations.
Maybe.
No, not really.
But yeah, 22 years.
Sheesh.
So, happy anniversary, Xena.
Happy anniversary, Xena! And I think Lucy Lawless broke Twitter today.
Oh yeah,
Because
what was it
she
said?
tweeted that for her, the only Gabrielle was Renee O'Connor.
Was Renee.
And then, well, you can imagine the response that got.
Yeah. So.
Go, Lucy Lawless!
But yeah. I can't believe it's been 22 years.
Neither can I.
Jeez. Okay. But anyway.
That shows... Oh my gosh, I'm almost as old as the show.
Right?
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
I'm kidding. I'm older than the show.
Yeah.
I too was created in a time of ancient gods. Anyway.
Anyways, so today's episode
features, Hades.
Hades, Eric Thompson.
And, which is much better than the Hades and
later episodes.
episodes.
I like Eric Thompson better.
I do too. And it features Marcus. We have Bobby Hosea back.
Bobby Hosea.
Bobby Hosea, fabulous actor.
Yeah.
I cannot stand Marcus.
Right.
But Bobby Hosea is an amazing actor.
Yeah, he is.
We have crazy dude, Atyminius. Who is played by Paul Willis. And he was also featured in a couple of other Xena episodes.
He was.
He was featured in Key to the Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
And he was featured in... Oh... Was it Cradle of Hope?
Oh, wow. I can't remember now.
Well, I know definitely it was Key to the Kingdom.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, when we get to that episode, we'll
know.
We'll kick out the jams.
Kick out the jams.
Yeah, kick out the jams.
Oh,
anyway,
wait until we get to the musical ones.
It's gonna be bad.
Okay, so Mortal Beloved. February 12th, 1996.
This episode also features sort of a lockbox mystery for Trista in the subtext department.
Yeah.
Like an extreme lockbox. Because, see, this is my task.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have had so much trouble seeing the subtext in Xena. That's the part of the podcast that Liliana has labeled me responsible for. So it is my goal.
Back of the way, Trista.
Back of the way, Trista. So it is my goal to find at least some itsy bitty teeny weeny subtext in every episode. Because apparently there is subtext in every episode. Who fucking knew? I didn't know. So, especially when you got this one.
Yeah.
And other ones like Return of Callisto.
Uh-huh.
And there's Flavors of the Week. Every fucking week. Every freaking episode in the first season for Xena and Gabrielle. How the hell is a normal person like myself gonna come up with subtext for all of that?
You're normal?
Not sometimes. Okay. When I'm on my meds. I mean, I don't really take meds, and you know, my apologies if that offends anybody. I have several people that are in my life that I care about very deeply that I would never make light of that.
Right.
But, yeah. That doesn't separate them from normal and unnormal. It just, you know.
Yeah.
They need a little more. I take chemo. I mean, come on. We all have our things that set us aside from other people. Anyhow, do you guys just love how I have foot and mouth syndrome and then I have to dig myself out? Like, it takes a shoehorn to pry my foot out of my mouth sometimes. It's really bad. So yeah, this episode, the subtext, was kind of difficult. Kind of really difficult, considering pretty much all Gabrielle did was sit next to the lake.
Yeah, she sat, just pretty much the whole episode sat next to the lake, waiting for Xena.
I wish I could sit by the lake.
So she pretty much sat there, not knowing whether or not she would return.
Right.
Dead or alive.
And she wanted her. Dead or alive. I had to do it. Hades made me do it. Okay.
Alrighty.
So,
moving on.
On a roll. Mortal Beloved, and go.
Action.
Action.
Alright, so, we got this girl walking through the woods at night. Alone. That was smart.
Jill, who's there?
So we have the ghost of Marcus.
Yes.
Haunting the forest.
Yes. And she screams because he says, "Please help us all."
Right. She screams and runs. Goes to, I'm guessing it was a tavern?
I'm guessing because they were drinking.
Okay.
It was either a tavern or a whorehouse. And I can't see Xena taking Gabrielle to a whorehouse.
Right.
So,
we'll stick with tavern.
We'll stick with tavern.
Okay. And, so the girl proceeds to tell, that
Xena,
she
saw a ghost.
She saw a ghost, and...
He was like, where?
Yeah. And so...
And then Gabrielle is using logic. Well, what makes you think it was a ghost? Like, well, it floated. It was all around me.
So...
Yeah.
So Xena being Xena. Gotta go investigate.
She's like, well, I'll take a look. She tells Gabrielle very pointedly, she's like, hey, you... stay here, and Gabrielle's like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
go fight the Oogie Boogie.
Go ahead. And so we have Xena looking for the ghost.
The Oogie Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marcus shows himself to her.
She realizes it's Marcus.
Recognizes the voice because you can't see his face.
No, not yet.
He's silhouetted until she touches him.
Tries to.
She tries to touch him, yeah.
Tries to, and it gets all sparky and lit up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
he did.
He did.
And then he explains to her, hey, I'm a ghost, Xena. Living can't touch the dead. Yes.
He'd be like, you light up my afterlife.
Shut up, Liliana. You're starting to sound as lame as me.
Anyways, go aheid.
Why? I think you should keep rolling after that one. You guys should see the color of her face. I think I want a shirt in that color.
You are wearing one.
I know I'm wearing a shirt
in that color. But
so
anyway.
Marcus pretty much is telling Xena, hey, the underworld's gone all topsy-turvy.
Right.
There's a madman on the loose that's stolen Hades' helmet.
Uh-huh. His helmet of invisibility.
Mm-hmm. And we need help. Like, the good guys are in Tartarus, the bad guys are in the Elysian Fields.
Yeah. But he didn't get a chance to say any of that, because the only thing that he got to say was to go to the Alconian
Lake.
Alconian Lake. So she doesn't really know much of what's going on.
He says that the good souls need her help.
Right. Yeah.
Because... And Xena... Now... This can be taken one of two ways. The fact that Xena goes off to the Alconian Lake. Because it's considered the deepest lake in Greece. Especially if you're going to go to the underworld for somebody. Because the only person in myth that's ever done that was, oh god, Eurydice and Morpheus. Morpheus and Eurydice.
So I'll say Eurydice and shit? Okay.
No. Morpheus and Eurydice. Morpheus is the only person that's ever been back from the underworld alive.
Okay.
Which we'll see him in a later Xena episode too.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there at this moment in time. So, you've got Xena that's willing to risk her life for Marcus by going to the underworld.
Right.
So this is, what can be considered as unrequited love for Marcus from Xena.
Right.
Because we all know in Path Not Taken, they had the feelers for each other, you know.
Right.
And we're really fuzzy at this point on exactly what Xena's relationship to Gabrielle is.
Uh-huh.
Because you have a few little things here and there, but you don't have anything solid.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
That's fair enough?
Yeah.
So, it can be taken one of two ways. She's willing to risk her life for Marcus because she's truly in love with Marcus. He's her true love and whatever. Or it can be taken as, you know, Xena just being Xena.
Mm-hmm.
And choosing to help the people that's in need. Because Xena, at this point in time, isn't willing to let good souls suffer. Right. Which is the way that I choose to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Well, yeah.
What's your take?
I mean, I do too. I mean, she knows something's not right in the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, what was it that he said? The good souls are suffering.
Good souls are in danger.
And obviously, we know how she feels about suffering souls. Because
the end.
Because of the end. So.
She really lost her head at the end, man. She did. All over suffering souls.
Yeah, so we know that she's all for...
Freaking Rob Tapper, son of a Bacchae.
Jeez.
He's not really. I mean, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good fella.
But, so yeah, I mean, we know how Xena feels about suffering souls.
Right.
So she's all for helping.
So you're on vote for that it's her just trying to right a wrong, essentially.
Yeah, she wants
not
to put...
so much so in going and risking her life for Marcus, specifically.
Well, the main reason, I think, is to help the souls. Because, you know...
So if somebody else came, if it wasn't Marcus, let's say that it was Salmonius, somebody like that, that we know she's had no romantic connection to.
I think she still would do it.
You think she would still go?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I do.
Leave it in the comments, because we want to know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Xena's, you know, explaining to Gabrielle what happened. Mm-hmm. And Gabrielle's pretty much, well, you can't, you can't do that. Because, deep lake, you don't know if you're going to make it back.
And Gabrielle, this is where we see her starting to strain over the thought of actually ever losing Xena.
Uh-huh.
This is the first place we ever see her strain over the thought of losing Xena.
Yeah.
Because she's never had to face that before.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and then Xena makes the comment that she'll make it to the underworld one way or another. Mm-hmm. I don't think. And
Gabrielle, she points out to Xena, he didn't even finish what he was saying.
Right.
How do you know he's not, you're just going to dive to the bottom of the lake for this guy? Yeah.
But,
and then
she's just like, well, what else could he have meant? So, I mean, if nothing was wrong, he wouldn't be there.
Right.
So.
And Gabrielle's like, well, consequences. Think about the consequences.
Yeah. So, but she says, that she has to do that. That she has to do that. She has to do this. Mm-hmm. And, Gabrielle's all like, well, yeah, you do.
Well, I mean, we have a subtext moment here. And we're kind of glossing over a little bit.
All right.
But Gabrielle points out, if you do, this lake is notorious for being unusually deep.
Right.
She doesn't say it in those words, but something similar. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, if you dive all the way to the bottom of the lake, you're never going to have enough air to make it back up to the surface.
Right.
And then Xena, just kind of being Xena,
yeah,
says, well, then I'll make it to the underworld one way or another.
Right.
And then Gabrielle, you see, get serious,
yeah, she's like, that's not funny.
Yeah. So, and then you see that it's kind of rubbed Gabrielle the wrong way, because you do start to see the depth of care that she has, even though we don't know what it is yet. And then Xena reminds us that we don't know what their relationship is yet, because then she just gives Subtexters a nice kick in the nads.
Yeah.
She's just like, the man I love asked for my help to save good souls. Gotta try.
Right.
So, and then Gabrielle, well, I'll just wait here.
Camp right here and wait.
Which says something about Gabrielle and her dedication to Xena.
Yeah.
So anyway, then we have Sharon, played by Michael Hurst. This is the first time we see him in Xena.
Sharon.
Yes.
Not Michael Hurst.
No, not Michael Hurst.
But Sharon,
Sharon,
yeah. I like Sharon.
And Xena, the opening line is funny because Sharon's, he's quick-witted.
Right.
Which is funny because the first thing Xena says is, you must be Sharon. He's like, no, I'm Tallulah, the dancing girl.
Of course I'm Sharon.
Who else would be crazy enough to hang out down here?
Right.
And then he's like, there's so much crap going on, nobody's getting across without a gold coin.
Yeah, and he's all, and I refuse to take any more dead souls.
Yep.
And she'd be like, well, I'm not dead.
I'm like, you're not dead? You're alive?
What? Hey.
What's it all coming to?
What's it all coming to?
Now we got tourists, he says. Like, everything is going wrong, and now we got tourists.
And then, Xena's pretty much just tells him that she wants to set things right. And
he's like, oh, okay.
He's like, wasn't he like, oh, what are you gonna do? Or something like that? I don't remember. But
he's like, when Hades can't do anything, what are you gonna do?
That's right.
He's like, this I gotta see. Come on.
So, and then she gets to
Tartarus.
Tartarus. Because all the good people are now in Tartarus.
And she walks in on a bunch of kids that are suffering in Tartarus. And one's like in this pot of water. It was weird.
I don't know what that was.
I don't either. It's like the kid was in almost a cistern of water. And she pulls the kid out. Yeah. And we know, even from later episodes when we see Xena with kids, and from the Hercules episodes, Xena has a soft spot
for kids. Yeah.
Which we don't find out later is because of Solon.
Right.
Yeah. She does, because we see that in the Titans episode and all the Warrior Princess arc for Hercules. Yeah. So anyway, she's all telling the kids, oh, it's all gonna be okay. And then she turns to Marcus, she's like, hey, who's doing this?
Yeah. What's going on? And then he mentions about Atyminius. How he stole Hades. Right. He stole Hades's.
This is when she gets the more elaborate story.
Yeah.
For what's happened.
Right.
So Marcus and Xena head off to the Elysian Fields.
Right.
Because Marcus has told Xena, hey, all the bad souls are up in the Elysian Fields, and Xena's like, well, can we go up there? Mm-hmm. Because Xena at this point has no clue that when Marcus was judged,
he was put in Tartarus.
He was put in Tartarus.
Because she thought he went to the Elysian Fields, but he did not.
So they go off to the Elysian Fields, and we see, Toxius and Marcus. This episode in particular was meant to be a direct follow-up, actually, to
Death in Chains
and Mortal Beloved. Our Path Not Taken.
Path Not Taken.
Yeah. Okay. It was meant to resolve Path Not Taken and a follow-up to Death in Chains.
Okay.
So, they just aired it a few
episodes later.
And it was only a filler episode, but this episode's actually ranked pretty high.
Yeah.
Among fans. Which I don't see. I don't see it. But, I'd give it like a 3. I wouldn't rank it like a 1 or anything.
Well, no.
Because I wouldn't rank it near as low as Path Not Taken.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably give I didn't hate it, but
3.5. 3.5?
Yeah.
See, I told you, she always has to be a half a point nicer than me. Always.
3.5.
So, it didn't suck. It was a well-written episode.
Yeah, it was.
I don't care for Marcus. I think that's the only problem I have.
That's the reason.
I don't care for Marcus, and I can't stand Toxius, and Atyminius got on my nerves.
Yeah. So,
but there are perks like Sharon.
Yeah. It's probably the best part.
It is the best part.
I like Sharon.
Me too.
He's funny. And Michael Hurst does a really good job playing him.
Yeah, he does. Michael Hurst is one of those that does a good job playing, like, whomever he plays
on
Xena. And he'll write a script, and he'll direct it, and he'll act in it, like, all the time.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But he's amazing, and he's also one of the ones that I would have, like Willa O'Neill. I would have never known he was a Kiwi until I heard him speak. Mm-hmm. Because he drops the accent so easily, like Lucy does. Even Lucy, every now and then, her Kiwi accent will sneak into an episode, but I've never heard his drop. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, plus he dressed in a dress for one of the shooting episodes for Who's Your Con.
Yeah, he did.
Who's Your Con? He was walking around on set in a dress, looking very lovely, and his curtsy is just magnificent. But he's an awesome guy. Anyway, so they're taking a tour of the Elysian Fields, and they bump into Toxius, who's excited that Xena's dead.
Right. He wants to know who killed her.
Her horse threw her. Argo wouldn't throw Xena.
And broke her pretty little neck.
Argo wouldn't throw Xena.
No,
I don't think so. So Toxius is telling a little more what's happened,
right?
You know, and then all of a sudden we see this unseen force start tossing people around. Atyminius. You'll get it. Atyminius.
Yeah, that.
There you go.
That one.
So Xena, being Xena, makes the comment that because Atyminius is like, one of you's not dead. It's her. Kill her.
Yeah.
And Xena is
talking her way out of it.
Right. She makes the comment, oh, of course he's going to want you guys all to fight me. When we could all be fighting for the helmet.
Right.
And then Toxius is like, hey, she's got a point.
Yeah.
So then chaos breaks out.
Yeah. Toxius loses his head.
Yeah. He does.
So, yeah.
And then we cut to Gabrielle, who's still sitting by the lake,
patiently waiting by the lake.
Poor thing. And these guys come up to her and they're like, "Are you going to the festival?" And she's like, "I'm waiting on a friend."
Yeah. Is she coming out of the lake?
No, he says
other side of
the lake. Gabrielle's like, "Well, sort of."
Yeah,
Who's like, "Okay, bye." Like, she's a little nutty.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to Xena and Marcus.
Yeah, she's explaining how she needs to talk with Hades, see what's going on, and
Marcus tells her that there's guards. The Atyminius has put guards all around Hades' castle. Palace. Castle.
So they go looking for Hades, and then they get attacked by these
harpies.
These
computer animated harpies. One of them looked like one of my 6th grade teachers. My 6th grade world history teacher bore a striking resemblance to the harpy that Xena set on fire. She did? I'm serious?
Oh, wow. And then you get to see the foam walls bounce around.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
so there's little oopsies all over this scene though.
Oh yeah.
Because the walls bouncing and the floor's bouncing because of the safety mats, and they do a nice job camouflaging it in.
Yeah.
To look like stone, but you can still tell it bounce.
You can still see it moving. Yeah.
And Xena does her fire breathing.
She does.
Yeah.
Sets one of the harpies ablaze.
And the harpies, one of them, grabs Marcus by the vest. Pulls his vest off.
Right.
Horny little harpy. And drops Marcus while Marcus slides out of the vest.
Right.
And then the harpy drops it. And he was like, hey, you've lost weight. After they close themselves in Hades' castle.
Yeah. And then we've got Hades kind of sulking at his table.
Eric Thompson Hades.
Eric Thompson. Yes. So he's pretty much, Xena, what are you doing here? Oh.
Yes.
Pop quiz.
I
got pop quiz for you. So, Eric Thompson and Lucy Lawless worked together on something, like, before Xena. What was it?
I know it was an ad.
Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun.
think it was a New Zealand bank ad.
It was?
I think it was ASB Bank.
It was
but I don't remember.
Yeah.
For 100%.
The Auckland National Savings Bank. They worked on a commercial together. Was it a commercial?
Yeah, it was a commercial. I remember seeing the commercial because Lucy Lawless had like this cherubic haircut. Like, cherubic? Yeah, like, you know how the cherubs in the old Renaissance paintings were like really short, curly, blonde hair?
Yeah, yeah.
She had her hair like that, and I believe Eric Thompson did too. But yeah.
Yeah, so they worked together as the parents of a boy in a series of ads for the bank.
Well, then you know what? It wasn't the same one I was thinking of.
No?
It wasn't the same ad.
It was a different one.
It was a different
one. So
they
worked on a couple of different ones.
No.
No?
Maybe it wasn't Eric Thompson in the other one that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But it looked a lot like him. Maybe it was. I don't know. Because, you know, they don't credit actors much in ads.
Yeah, in ads.
You know.
But, yeah. So, they did work together before Xena.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was your pop quiz for today.
No. Yay! It's like Renee O'Connor. She did all kinds of commercials before she got Xena.
Uh-huh. Did she do a McDonald's commercial?
She did a McDonald's commercial.
Yeah.
She did, in McDonald's, she did one of the hair product commercials.
Uh-huh.
She did, a Wrigley's gum commercial. And, of course, danced as Porky Pig at Six Flags. You know. So, I mean, they don't credit people a ton for commercials. Until they, like, make it big, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff comes out.
They were in this, they were in that, and this. Yeah.
Hey, I was the first person they acted for.
Yeah.
You run into that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially doing what we do sometimes. Because sometimes we'll do, like, press release work.
Uh-huh.
And it'll be independent films.
Right.
And we worked on press release work for an animated feature film called The Grid Zombie Outlet Mall.
Uh-huh.
And one of the fellows that did one of the voices was in Code Black. Well, he just moved out to LA when he did The Grid.
Uh-huh.
And so Code Black had him, and he was like, yeah, this was the first project that I did. So that was kind of cool. Because you run into that all the time with independents.
Yeah.
If somebody makes it big. But anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So that was just an example. Anyway, back to Xena. She and Hades are having a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And she's telling Hades, she's like, hey, we gotta do something.
Right.
I don't know what, but we gotta do something. And Hades is explaining to her that without his helmet,
he can't do anything.
He's like, I'm pretty much powerless. And she's like, you're a freaking god.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, but, you know, he's got my helmet of invisibility, so as long as he's on the earth, because they've explained to Hades now that he's gone up.
Right.
Like, if he's on earth, he's mortal.
He'll with
my helmet.
With the helmet, mortal. He'll be mortal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So he's like, you guys would have to kill him again.
Yeah.
And Xena strikes a deal with Hades.
Right.
And she tells him
to give Marcus his mortality back so that he can help her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty much, no, I can't do that. But he does. He gives him his mortality back. Pretty much says, okay, well, you got 24 hours.
48.
48?
48
Was it 48?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. 48. And then, at the end of 48, he's dead again.
Then we cut to Gabrielle.
Gabrielle, still waiting by the lake, and then she hears something.
Coming up out of the lake.
Right.
She's like, Xena?
Yeah.
Whoa, Xena!
Is
that you?
You see these footprints on the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear, what's his name's voice?
Atyminius.
Yeah. So he's happy to see Gabrielle, but she's just like, ew, what is that?
Well, he asks her, he's like, hey, you aren't about to be married, are you? Mm-hmm. Because that's what Atyminius was famous for.
That's a thing of his.
Is killing brides the night before they're to be married.
Right.
So she's like, who are you? And he's like, well, I guess that'd be too much good luck.
Yeah.
You know, but you'll do for a start. And then he goes on about seeing the fear in her eyes and this and that. And
yeah.
And then you have Xena and Marcus
pop out of the lake.
Marcus is all like, look!
Yeah, so you see Atyminius hovering over what appears to be a dead Gabrielle.
Right.
So that's what Xena thinks, because she'd be like, no!
And she issues no, and then she rushes.
Yeah. Yeah.
At Atyminius.
But she was just, like, knocked out, because apparently Gabrielle gave him a bloody nose.
Yeah.
She makes the comment, did you see the bloody nose I gave him?
Yeah.
So Xena's relieved.
And in return for her giving him the bloody nose, he kicked her in the head.
Right, right. So, but, I mean, Xena's relieved.
Yeah.
Because she's okay.
She was upset.
Oh, yeah.
Noticeably upset.
Yeah.
About Gabrielle. Yes. You look like you're going to say something.
Oh, no. No. So, and then...
They fight. They can't see anything. The helmet comes off.
Mm-hmm.
Xena slashes at him, but he slips the helmet on and somehow or another manages to roll away. Knock Xena out of the way and run off like a chicken shit.
I don't think there would have been enough time for after he slipped on that helmet for him to roll away. Because she came down with the sword pretty quick.
She did, but there would have been enough time.
Yeah.
Because he could have rolled while he was putting the helmet on.
Yeah. But, like, when he was walking, you can see his footprints, but when he rolled away, you didn't see any of that.
No, that could be a continuity error. Or that could be a camera angle because of the way the light reflected off the sand.
Okay.
Because you have smooth and smooth where footprints leave impressions.
Oh, yeah. So.
Other than just sand grains sliding.
But yeah. But they managed to, like, injure him. Didn't they, like, stab him or something?
Yeah.
Because when he ran off,
he wounded him, and then they tracked his blood trail.
Yeah, that's it. So, and
then Marcus introduces himself to Gabrielle, and she's like, "Oh, I heard so much about you."
Oh, right.
After she tells Xena that Xena looks like she's seen a ghost.
Uh-huh.
And then Marcus is like, "Hi, I'm Marcus." And Gabrielle's like, "I've heard so much about you. I wish I could have met you before you died."
Right.
And Gabrielle's like, "He's dead."
Uh-huh. Just
I kind of wonder.
Uh-huh.
I kind of wonder sometimes, like especially during the last season of Xena,
uh-huh,
when Gabrielle realizes that Xena can't take the chakram from her because she's dead.
Uh-huh.
I half wonder if like this scene doesn't play through her head, like Gabrielle's head, because when she sees that Marcus, who she knows is dead, is with Xena, who she's now worried about would possibly die before she got back to the surface of the lake. I wonder if for like a split second she didn't think Xena was dead too. And if this kind of rolled through her head. I don't know. I mean, this episode's pretty much forgotten about in the later episodes, even in the clip episodes after this.
I don't know. So.
Yeah. That's just me thinking.
So, are we like at the camp at night now? Or... I don't remember. Where's Xena?
They're trailing him.
They're trailing him.
They started trailing Atyminius. They're following his blood
Following his blood.
And then they come across these guys. The same guys that asked Gabrielle if she needed... The cat won't let my hand go.
That's right. If, asked her if she was going to the festival, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Well, she won't. So... They run into him, and they're still looking for him. The trail stops, and Xena's like, we might as well make camp and get some rest here.
Right.
And Gabrielle's like, who's gonna sleep with that madman on the loose? And then she's the one that's sleeping.
She's sleeping.
Snoring away. And
I don't plan to close my eyes all night.
Not all night.
She was the first one out.
But she had to do that. She had to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because I have a subtext scene.
Okay, go for it.
So, there's the campfire scene.
Yes.
Right before they do the hippity-dippity-doo-dah.
Okay.
Okay. So, we know that I have notes. Hang on.
Uh-huh.
Because this was hard to piece together. This was really hard to piece together for me.
Okay.
So, if you don't know where to look for subtext in this episode, you're not going to find it. Pretty much.
Uh-huh.
But this conversation between Xena and Marcus is the key to where the subtext is. Because we know that Marcus is dead. He's been dead. And what's the most common thought that's said in regards to the dead in the Xenoverse?
That the dead can hear your thoughts.
The dead can hear your thoughts. Well, the dead can hear the thoughts of the living, more specifically. Because they can't hear the thoughts of other dead people.
Yeah.
You know. So, he's telling Xena, hey, the dead can hear the thoughts of the living. Don't give up on love, Xena.
Right.
And she's like, oh, you heard those thoughts too? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I did. And he gives her this whole speech, and the speech that he gives her almost mirrors the speech that Demon Xena gives to Gabrielle in Fallen Angel.
Huh.
Because she points out, because Xena is talking directly to Gabrielle in Fallen Angel.
Right.
She's like, love is the most powerful thing out there. Our love is stronger than death. Our love,
Right.
The same type speech that he gives. Well, you get an insight into Xena's way of thinking about how, I started to, I guess when I lost you, it hurt too much. Mm-hmm. Maybe caring that much for somebody is not worth it. And he's like, no, it is.
Yeah.
And then he goes into that. And then she tells him that she has something to say to him.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells him she loves him.
Yeah.
Well, Marcus's face, you can see for like a split second before they have a smoochie, he looks genuinely surprised that Xena said that.
Yeah.
So if we keep in mind that the dead can hear the thoughts of the living, and Marcus looks like, wait, what? Like kind of taken aback when Xena says that.
Yeah.
And he's heard her thinking obviously about loving somebody.
Yeah.
And it wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
Who else could it have been?
Gabrielle,
because now Xena has started to realize, hey, there's warm fuzzies there.
Right.
And this is all speculation. I mean, I'm trying to piece together. Yeah. I don't know. But it strikes, even on a lot of the fan boards, this speech rings for a lot of viewers like an ex-lover allowing the other one to move on.
Yeah.
And that this is Xena's way of closure with the person that, she loved that was murdered and taken from her.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's like with a widower or a widow.
Uh-huh.
Anytime that you lose somebody, you're always going to feel like you're cheating on that person that's died. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think this was a way of allowing her to heal.
Probably.
And him giving her permission to say, hey, it's okay, move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. For 100%. But, that would be where the subtext that I have is, so that would then allow Xena to start dealing with her feelings. Mm-hmm. At a point in time where they've spent a significant amount of time together. She and Gabrielle have.
Yeah.
So feelings would have, if they were involved in something, it would have been right around this time, I feel like. I don't think it would have been straight from the get-go. Because you still have to get to know that person.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this would provide a nice, cushy ground.
Yeah.
I guess. Especially for Altered States, which is the next episode, which is pretty subtext heavy.
Uh-huh.
And then, I think it's Altered States that's next.
No, Royal Couple of Thieves is next.
Royal Couple of Thieves, that's right. And then Altered States. No, then The Prodigal. That's right. My mind. Anyway.
Altered would be...
Altered is after The Prodigal.
The third one.
Which makes sense, because that was my next thought. So, a couple episodes later, after Royal Couple of Thieves.
Uh-huh.
That's right. I jumped ahead of myself. After Royal Couple of Thieves, we have the episode The Prodigal.
Uh-huh.
Which is commonly thought as the episode that allows Gabrielle to sort out her feelings for Xena away from Xena, so that she can see that her feelings and the way that she loves her sister is vastly different from the way that she loves Xena.
Right.
Because earlier in one of the other episodes before The Prodigal comes along, she tells someone that she and Xena are like sisters. So when she goes back in The Prodigal, that allows her to see that their love's a little different.
Hey, not like sisters.
Not like sisters. And then we have Altered States.
And then it's Altered States, yeah.
Which your subtext really starts kicking up from Altered States on. So anyway, but it's pretty much just like normal cookie cutter. Xena's afraid that if she admits that she loves Gabrielle, something's going to happen to Gabrielle because everybody that she allows herself to love dies.
Right.
Which is the fears that Marcus has heard out of her noggin. Which is why he feels the need to encourage her not to give up on love.
Right.
And then they do the dirty, and I have no explanation for that. That was probably a producer's move because the network would only allow so much.
Right.
You know.
Right. So,
at least till they figured out that the so much allowed them to get better ratings.
Right? Jeez.
Anyway.
So then they come to the village.
Yeah. You talk now. I'm exhausted.
Why? So then they come to the village and they notice that
Atyminius?
Yeah.
You can't say it, can you?
Atyminius has been there because, you know, like we got carts flipped over.
We got chaos.
And
chaos equals
people
Atyminius.
looking like they saw ghosts and, yeah. So...
And there's a wedding that's going to happen.
He was creating havoc and, yes, the wedding. I guess that's what everybody's like preparing for, right? Mm-hmm. Is the wedding.
And then we find out that Atyminius hates one thing. What is it? You pop quizzed me. I'm gonna pop quiz you now.
Oh, I forget. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, the jugglers. That's right.
He hates jugglers.
That's right.
He's like, be glad you're not a mime. He says.
The guy's all like, what? He's all like juggling, and then just one of his balls is floating around.
Yeah.
And then he gets popped by it. But anyway, so Xena needs to find
the father of the bride.
The father of the bride, and
not a Steve Martin reference at all.
No. So they go to his house and pretty much telling him that Xena
Atyminius is out and about, and
right,
and she needs
to go in the bride's place for right. the bath thing that they do.
Yeah.
But see, she knows that Atyminius is listening. She knows he's there. Mm-hmm. So she's pretty much tricking him into thinking that...
She doesn't know that he's there yet.
No?
No. Because she's talking openly about their plan.
Yeah.
And she pointedly tells him that... Oh, wait, no, she does.
That's why she's...
Because she says she's going to go in the bride's place to the bath.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't make any sense.
Why?
Because when the bride's being taken to the bath, and it's the actual bride, then Atyminius comes into the house while the bride's supposed to be sleeping.
Yeah, because...
The bride's still at the bath.
Because he thinks that Xena switched places with her. So he thinks the bride is still at the house.
Oh, yeah. I confused myself again.
Yeah, I was starting to get confused by your confusion.
You also have a little bit of subtext there with Gabrielle tucking Xena in all nice and cozy.
Alright, go for it.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
She tucked her in all nice and cozy. Subtext, warm feelings, go with it.
Okay. So Atyminius is there to kill the bride.
Yes.
Little does he know.
The bride is Xena.
The bride is Xena. And he gets his butt kicked. Yeah, and then he dies.
He does, and when he dies, I noticed this today, it is not the same actor on the floor.
It looks like him.
It's not, though.
But, yeah. Okay.
They pulled the sheep over your eyes, people. They pulled the wool. What is it? They pulled the wool. The wool they pulled. They pulled the wool over your eyes.
Yeah, that's it.
Stop that. Reverse it. So they go back to the underworld
with the helmet. Mm-hmm. They've retrieved it.
And Marcus has a moment where he's contemplating turning back to his old ways. Because he tells Xena, he's like, hey, if it worked for Atyminius, it can work for me. I can...
Right. So he's thinking about keeping the helmet, you know, because as long as he's got the helmet, he's mortal, right?
Right.
So yeah, he had a moment, but then he decided against it, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then we're back to Sharon. Sharon?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
After Xena's she doesn't like the fact that Marcus is going to have to spend eternity in Tartarus.
Right.
So that he's like, well, that's how it has to be. You know, I got to do the right thing. That's the way it's got to be.
Yeah. Oh.
And we've got Sharon back again, and he's like, are you dead this time?
Nope. He's like, wait a minute, I know this guy's dead.
He's been dead a while. And she's like, he's not dead anymore.
Not dead anymore. I don't believe this. There's no rules anymore.
And then he's like, there's nothing you can do. I'm not taking you across unless you give me a gold coin. And then they bust out the helmet of Hades.
Okay, get on.
It's like,
pretty much.
now if you look to your left, you'll see the Caves of Despair. And coming up just ahead on the right, you'll see the Hanging Gardens of Disgusting Diseases.
Such a lovely tour guide he is.
I know. Hey, at least he gives a shit.
Yeah. And then we're back out outside of the castle again, and then here come the harpies again.
Yep. And they grab Marcus.
Uh-huh.
And then we find out what Xena really keeps in the flask.
That flask she got from when she was in the Elysian Fields,
yes,
from one of the baddies.
But
she held on to it.
But she could have put anything in that flask. It could have been water. Could have been milk.
Uh-huh.
Because we know Xena orders milk when she's pregnant.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was flammable liquid.
It was alcohol.
Uh-huh. So she said another...
It's probably port. Xena likes her port.
She likes her port. Okay. So she sets another harpy on fire.
Mm-hmm. Marcus, like, starts hacking the foot off.
Foot off of one that's grabbed him. Ow.
And then Xena does this little flip, and you see the stone underneath her shake because it's a safety mat.
Right. So.
Oopsie.
Whoops.
Keep an eyeball out for that one.
Yeah. And then
we cut
in the
to
castle.
Hades.
In the castle with Hades. And then he's like, well, where's, Marcus and the helmet?
He just asked for the helmet.
He just asked for the helmet. And she said it's in a safe place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's going to bargain.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much telling Hades that, hey, he deserves to be in the Elysian Fields.
Yeah.
Well, you only get judged one time when you die, and that's that. So she's pretty much, well, he's going to die again, so you should judge him again. And then
he's like, I will, but his past misdeeds are going to weigh heavily against him.
Right.
And she's like, well, I want to speak for him.
Right.
He's like, okay, but I'll allow you to speak for him, but first, the helmet.
Right.
And then Marcus takes off the helmet.
Takes off the helmet, hands it to him. And then you get like an unexpected moment when Xena pretty much kills Marcus.
Which is another thing that your subtext community pops out. Was, hey, Xena killed Marcus. She didn't really love Marcus. That's how they knew she'd come to terms with closure of one relationship and being able to start one with Gabrielle. So everybody was like, she fought tooth and nail for Gabrielle.
Right.
She stabbed Marcus in the chest to kill him.
Yeah.
It's like, she went to the land of the dead, she did this, she did that. When Gabrielle died, she did this. When she hit her in the head with the chakram, she took her up to Olympus. And
yeah.
Like, she didn't do that for Marcus. She was just like, okay. Gotta be that way. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. But, yeah. I mean, she was visibly shaken by that, because, she's looking at the dagger, and then just drops it. The look on her face like, oh my god, I can't believe I just did that.
Yep. And then Hades tells her in the next scene that Marcus is in the Elysian Fields.
Right. So,
forever.
Forever.
And to say goodbye.
Yep.
And then we got back to Gabrielle.
Yeah.
And Xena popping up out of the water.
Pops out of the water. Gabrielle's happy to see her. She's alive. So,
and Gabrielle's trying to comfort Xena.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you guys will be together again one day.
Yeah.
And then Xena, like, does the little chest pat thing, and she's like, oh, we'll never be apart. He's always in here.
Right.
And then Liliana started, path not taking me. So.
My friend.
But anyway, so that's path not taken.
It is.
We didn't think it would take this long.
No, that's the Mortal Beloved.
Mortal Beloved. I'm sorry.
Beloved.
This is not my day for clarity. I haven't had enough Code Red. I think I need to amp it up a little bit.
Okay.
I haven't even drank half a can today.
Oh.
I know.
That's why.
Usually I'm on 4 by now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's Mortal Beloved.
We didn't think it would take this long, but I started piecing together bits and pieces for subtext, and it went longer than what we originally anticipated.
That's okay.
That's okay. We do have a fun disclaimer that we forgot to do at the beginning.
Oh, okay. You want to go for it? Go ahead.
No winged harpies were harmed or sent to a fiery grave during the production of this motion picture.
Well,
Yay
good.
for the harpies.
The harpies were not harmed.
The harpies win. Anyway, till next time when we cover Royal Couple of Thieves.
Royal Couple of Thieves with Autolycus.
Autolycus. I like Autolycus.
I do too. So, until next time.
Battle on, XENITES. Happy chakrams.
Goodbye.
Babbling Bards.
Out!